Hey there, race fans. It's race day, top 5 with me, Frank 5. The 2020 NASCAR season is officially in the books, as today the season ended in the desert as we had 4 men battling it out for the most coveted award of NASCAR in the Bill France Cup. At the end of the day, a first-time NASCAR champion and the son of one of NASCAR's most popular drivers over the years is now known as a Cup champ. Let's talk the end of the 2020 NASCAR season finale in the desert of Phoenix. Number 1, Chase Elliott, my boy, Dawsonville, Georgia's own, driver of the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, is your 2020 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Yes! 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 What a moment. What a moment. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy and so proud of Chase Elliott. He is now known as a NASCAR Cup Series champion as he literally dominated today's season finale 500, that's what they called it, at Phoenix Raceway, winning the championship over Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Jimmy Johnson. What a year it has been for Chase Elliott. What a day it's been. Let's basically recap its entire year. Chase Elliott has arguably been the best Chevy this year. We can all agree with that. He was really up front in a lot of the races earlier this year, even before the pandemic hit. He was really strong when the season resumed. He was so good in the early portion of the spring. Then when we hit the summer months, he kind of struggled a little bit, and then as the playoffs were about to start, he finally picked up winning the Daytona Road Course race. And in the playoffs, he was just so consistent from the beginning, from Darlington, with that incident he had in Martin Truex in the Southern 500. He was able to put that behind him and fight forward. He was able to win the Roval, where I got to see him win, while also getting on television. And then he came to Martinsville last weekend in a must-win situation to get himself to the championship 4. He executed, despite a near scare with a man almost over the wall too soon, but luckily corrected the mistake. That got him to the championship 4, and in his first appearance in the championship 4, in a new area, by the way, in Phoenix, as we didn't have the championship finale in Homestead due to the schedule change before all the pandemic stuff happened, Chase Elliott came through and brought NASCAR back to its golden days, winning this year's 2020 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. And what a day he had. From the beginning of the race, Chase Elliott had drama because his car failed pre-race tech twice, and he was scheduled to start on the pole because of the win he accumulated from last weekend, as well as leading the most laps and having the fastest lap. So Chase Elliott had to start at the rear of the field. Thankfully didn't fail the third time, because that would have forced a pass through pit road on the green flag lap. But Chase Elliott had a rocket ship. He came flying through the field, no issues. The car was fast. Hendrick Motorsports clearly brought the best car and the best engine to the track in a long time. And it was just a great performance by Chase Elliott. He got up to the top 5 by the end of the first stage. Then the second stage, he took the lead from Joey Logano and looked to be in control to win that stage until he had a tight battle towards the end with Brad Keselowski, which was really close and exciting between 2 championship contenders. And in the final stage, Chase Elliott just absolutely nailed it. That final stage was the perfect stage that Chase Elliott and his team put together, especially on green flag pit stops, being able to outpit the rest of the competition and passing Joey Logano late with about 40 laps to go, and he drove off and he never looked back. I was waiting, because of the other 2 races, I was waiting for the late race caution, because what we saw Friday night and Saturday night, I had a feeling we were going to have a late race caution and a late race restart and put Elliott in a precarious position whether to pit or stay out. But luckily that didn't happen, and he was able to come through and win this year's championship. And he normally doesn't show a lot of emotion, but you saw some of it last week when he won at Martinsville, and you saw a lot of it today in the car. He was just overcome with emotion. He was so happy that we got to have fans there to witness it, which was amazing. He admitted, "I feel like this is a dream, and I'm not going to wake up from this." I feel like I'm dreaming too. I mean, I finally got to see my favorite driver win a championship for the first time since I became a NASCAR fan. This was just an incredible moment, and he had Mr. H, the owner there, Rick Hendrick, was there to celebrate. Bill Elliott, his father, and his mom, Cindy, were there. Of course, Bill, the '88 champion. It was just an incredible moment for Chase Elliott and Bill Elliott. And at the end of the race, while celebrating, he had his good buddy and 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson come up and celebrate with him at the end, and as they passed each other on the cool down lap, Jimmy high-five Chase, basically passing the torch to him. I'll get to more on Jimmy a little bit later, but it was a big moment for NASCAR, a big moment for Hendrick Motors, a big moment for Alan Gustafson, his first career championship as a crew chief in NASCAR Cup Series competition. He came close 5 years ago when Jeff Gordon got to go battle for the championship in his final year at Homestead. Unfortunately, he came up a little bit short, but this year, he and Chase Elliott got it done. I'm so proud of Chase Elliott. He is a NASCAR champion, and the future is just getting started. The era of Chase Elliott has begun. A dynasty is about to begin for this kid. What a moment, what a day, what a year for Chase Elliott. Number 2, Brad Keselowski, our 2012 Cup champion, who came in with a little bit of momentum for this race because this racetrack is similar to Richmond, and a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs, Keselowski dominated that race with this high horsepower, low downforce package that we had. I had a feeling Keselowski was going to be quite a strong threat to win the championship today. And he was. I mean, I mentioned he battled towards the end of stage 2 with Chase Elliott and took the lead on the last 2 corners on the last lap of stage 2 and took it away from Chase Elliott. Obviously, stage points weren't allowed for the championship 4 because you had to be the highest finisher at the end of the race to win the championship. Brad Keselowski had a pretty good car. In the first stage, he kind of struggled a little bit, but they kept making adjustments on it, making it better and better. The only thing that probably cost Brad Keselowski a chance to win the championship today, despite how good his car was, his pit crew had a couple of slow pit stops, and unfortunately, you can't have those when you're battling for a championship because it's a team sport, and you have to come together as a team, and they made a couple of mistakes that probably cost them Brad Keselowski's second championship. But he'll be back next year, and he had a very, very solid season, especially with a new crew chief in Jeremy Bullins. The Penske crew chief swap over the offseason really benefited all 3 drivers. I think it mostly benefited Keselowski, putting him with Jeremy Bullins and moving on from Paul Wolfe, who is now Joey Logano's crew chief. They had a really solid season. They have a lot to be proud of, and they're going to be strong contenders next year by the time we start the season in February. Number 3, Joey Logano, the 2018 Cup Series champion. In the first stage, he was arguably the best car. I mean, he was so dominant. He literally, I think he led every lap in that first stage. He was that dominant. He just had a complete control over Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski at the time. And then in the second stage, when Elliott got the lead away from Logano kind of struggled a little bit and kind of wasn't up to par. He had complained a couple times on the radio that he had developed a vibration, whether it was with the brakes or maybe it was a loose wheel. It wasn't a loose wheel or at all, but the brakes, maybe it was an issue that could have cost him. But Logano still has a lot to be proud of. Of course, he came into this race with a lot of momentum off the win in Kansas, and of course, earlier this year before the pandemic hit, this was the last race before we went on a break, and Logano won the race, and what was an exciting race the entire time in March. Logano came in obviously with momentum and obviously new crew chief and Paul Wolfe, but they also have a lot to be proud of this year. Joey Logano and his team fought through. A lot of people thought, oh, he got to the round of 8, but he's going to be eliminating the championship 4, but never discount and never count out Joey Logano because that guy can drive. No matter how hard he races you or how cleanly you try to race him, he will always be aggressive and he will always put up a fight, and that's what you got to appreciate Joey Logano of. He's an aggressive driver, but he's also a very fun driver to watch on the racetrack. So it was a good year overall for Joey Logano and the whole 22 team. Number 4, Denny Hamlin, once again, close but no cigar. Denny Hamlin has a lot to be proud of. An incredible 2020 season for him. Started out the year winning the Daytona 500, which sadly was a little bit overshadowed by the Ryan Newman crash at the very end. Hamlin has a lot to be proud of. He was so dominant 1.5 miles and 2-mile tracks. It looked like that he was going to be the guy that could finally pull through this championship. Because remember, a year ago in this race, which was a cutoff race to make it to the championship 4, he won it. And I felt like coming in, he would have a lot of momentum. They were up front a lot today, but in the final stage, they kind of lost the handling of their race car, and Hamlin kind of admitted post-race that his cars on the short tracks this year were not up to par with what the Penske guys had and even what Chase Elliott and other guys had. I admit the Joe Gibbs guys, with the exception of Truex this year, they struggled on the short tracks. They weren't as fast as those other guys. They had struggled with the low downforce, high horsepower package, which is something that they're going to have to work on during the off-season, which I know Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota can because they're smart people. They know their stuff. They're champions of NASCAR and manufacturers and drivers. They've won championships in those departments before. So there's a lot to be proud of for Denny Hamlin. He had a very solid season, and maybe next year will finally be the year that he wins that long, elusive championship, because the time is ticking. Because how much longer will we see Denny Hamlin in a car? Because now he's about to become a co-owner of a brand new team with one of the most popular figures in sports in Michael Jordan next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but Denny Hamlin has a lot to be proud of. Another solid season for him and crew chief Chris Gabehart, and they will be contenders when next year starts. And number 5, we say goodbye to legends. Today was the last NASCAR Cup Series race for 7-time champion Jimmie Johnson. What a career this man has had. So much class, so much that he's accomplished. I mean, being a 7-time champ with 2 of the sport's biggest icons in Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt, that's unbelievable. That's an amazing career for Jimmie Johnson. He's had it all. 7 championships, as I mentioned, 83 career wins, puts him in a tie with Cale Yarborough. He's just got so much to be proud of. It's been an incredible career for him. Obviously, this final season wasn't what he hoped for, obviously, with COVID and not being able to see a lot of fans at the track watch him in his final season, though we did get to see fans at the track today, and there were a lot of cheers for him. Other than Chase Elliott's championship, there was a lot of cheers showing the class and respect for Jimmie Johnson and what he's brought to the sport. And today, he went out on what I considered a perfect high note, finishing with a 5th place finish. He had a really competitive race car. This was honestly, in my opinion, the best car that I've seen Jimmie Johnson run so far in his final season. It was a really good year. I mean, true, it sucks that he didn't make the playoffs, and it sucks that he didn't win in his final season, but that's not going to deny what this man has been able to accomplish throughout his NASCAR career. Amazing legacy that he's brought to the sport, and we look forward to seeing what he does down the road. Obviously, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he's up for eligibility, and next year he'll be driving IndyCar races on the street and road courses for Chip Ganassi Racing. So Jimmie Johnson's not done racing yet, and also it was hinted that he and Chase Elliott will be driving the Rolex 24 at Daytona next year. Ooh, that sounds good. And Jimmie Johnson, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, I've gained so much respect for you over these last couple years, and I would like to thank you for what you've done for the sport. You are an amazing driver, an incredible man, and a wonderful father to your 2 little girls, and a wonderful husband to your wife. And we will truly miss you on the track next year, but you will always have a place in all of our hearts in NASCAR, and thank you for all that you have brought to the sport. And a couple of other drivers also said goodbye today. Clint Bowyer, his final NASCAR race before he makes the transition to the broadcast booth for NASCAR and Fox next year. Came away with a 14th place finish today, which is I guess car 14 finishing 14th, that's pretty fitting. It's been a good career for Clint Bowyer, and we can't wait to see what he brings to the table next year in NASCAR and Fox with his humor and his insight to the entire sport. And I think today was also finally the last time we say goodbye to Matt Kenseth, who came in this year in a really unprecarious spot, having to drive the rest of the season in the 42 car after Kyle Larson was fired for what he said earlier this year in an iRacing event. Kenseth came in and didn't really have the best year, honestly. Only 2 top 10s. His best finish was second in the Brickyard 400 to Kevin Harvick. But Kenseth has still had a very solid career. 2 Daytona 500s, a 2003 championship. He'll be in the Hall of Fame eventually. I don't know when he'll be up for eligibility, but I believe Matt Kenseth will be in the Hall of Fame one day, and he's had a very solid career as well. And we can't thank him and Clint Bowyer and, of course, Jimmie Johnson for what they've done for NASCAR. There are a couple of other lasts today. It's the last race for Chad Knaus as a crew chief. Today was the last time he was crew chiefing a NASCAR driver. He will move to a managerial role at Hendrick Motorsports next year, and William Byron will have Rudy Fugle, who he's worked with in the Truck Series in 2016 for KBM, as his crew chief for next year. Bubba Wallace's last race in the 43 car. He'll go to Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's new team, 2311 Racing, next year. Eric Jones' last race for Joe Gibbs Racing. He'll move to the 43 next year. The last race for Germain Racing as they're shutting down, Levine Family Racing as they're shutting down, and Christopher Bell will go to the 20 car. The last full-time season for Go Fast Racing, they will transition to part-time next year, and Corey LaJoie will go wherever he goes. He doesn't have a ride lined up yet, and hopefully he'll find something as well as Ty Dillon. Alex Bowman's last ride in the 88 car, because next year that'll be the 5 car, driven by Kyle Larson, and Alex Bowman will replace Jimmie Johnson in the number 48 car for 2021. And next year we will see Chase Briscoe driving the number 14, replacing Clint Bowyer. A lot of lasts today. You know, it's kind of sad. The season's officially over, but you know what? After all we've been through this year, we had a full season. We did have some fans being able to come to the races. I was fortunate enough to go to a couple of these events. I feel bad for all the fans out there that couldn't go, sadly, and hopefully you guys will get the chance to go to the races next year as things will get better, and hopefully we don't have to wear a mask anymore, because I'm about done. But we were able to go through a lot this year with the pandemic, with a lot of things, a lot of struggles in our country, but NASCAR was able to pull through and get this season done, and we were able to have the championship 4 in Phoenix and have some fans, and everybody got to be treated to the beginning of the Chase Elliott era with his first championship today, and I'm humbled and honored to be a Chase Elliott fan, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm proud of NASCAR for being able to get this entire season in. And it's been a crazy year, and hopefully next year we'll have an even brighter season. So anyways, that's all I've got for you guys, and I want to thank you all for watching my videos this year. I'll have a thank you video probably this upcoming weekend. Thank you guys for support. I appreciate everybody for watching my videos this year. Obviously, with all the craziness that we've dealt through, we were able to have a NASCAR season, and I'll recap all the things that we've dealt through this year and all the good, mostly the good. I'll leave the bad stuff behind and I'll mostly focus on the good side. It's been a great year, a crazy year. Very happy with the outcome of the season, obviously. And now we'll look ahead to 2021. And obviously I will have a recap video, and then I'll go into break and enjoy Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then we'll get ready for 2021 next year with the Daytona 500. What a wild year it's been. It's come to a close, and thankfully everybody was able to have a safe, healthy season. So subscribe, like. Chase Elliott, congratulations. You are a NASCAR Cup Series champion. What a way to end 2020. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a blessed week, and may God bless you all. Ciao.